So, in this quick video, I'm motivated to record some screencasts, keeping with my learning and actual implementation, learning by doing with the MVC toolkit from the Telerik KendoUI. Very powerful stuff for me, at least, because I'm a very lazy guy, but I like to get a lot done, and this is actually doing a lot. It's really, really lovely. I quickly developed a little application, and I follow the instruction. You download the trial for 30 days. It gets plugged into your Visual Studios, and you quickly make a new project. This one is running, so you can see the process here. You make a new project as usual, MVC project, choose the template, and bam, there you go. So when I run this, I notice I think I'm using MVC 5 there. I'm not the standard vanilla MVC. We usually have the authentication, identity, login and registration buttons here, and some other features. And this is not present in this system. So after doing what I did, I wanted to have a quick look at how do I put back logins here. Now it wasn't a trivial matter, so hence my motivation to make this screencast. So the first thing I did, of course did some research, jump across to standard MVC, blank MVC system, which you get from Visual Studios. I took a MVC 5 and I look at what's going on here. I first focus on getting the design, what I call the design or the layout, and the view. See if I could understand what was happening here. I see the color partial view, which is called login partial. So this is it here. So I jump over to my KendoUI MVC. I look into my shared folder. There is no partial view here, so that's problem number one. So I would just add from existing, and I'll jump to any of the existing projects that I know this existing one. That's it. From view, shared view, partial. So there I go. I have partial. I just quickly check to make sure that I'm using the right stuff here. Yeah. You don't worry about this yet, because this is a method you could get when you install some stuff. Now I did some reading from one of the websites of the guy, which I don't have now for sure. Maybe I should pause the video a little, just to give it a moment. Okay, so this is the site here. It has a pretty decent explanation of how to do things, and he actually starts with a blank empty MVC project and includes the identity, ESP identity from NuGet, and he starts the work. So I'm building a little bit on this and also transferring what I know from other MVC projects, and that's where I came here, and I added already in the previous part of this video the login page. Now I will just be copying and pasting to the pages by adding existing for all the files that needs to be added. Now what I'll do, I'll follow what he says, and what he actually advises is to add in NuGet. So I'll use NuGet and ASP.NET identity. So he is advising that we follow this here. Okay, first 2010, 2013. If you open, well, we know if you open a brand new MVC project 5 or 4, you get all these things plugged in, but with Telerik it's not included, so I have to include it. So we look for this. see if we get it, see if it's available. ASP identity entity framework 2.0 or in identity core. This one, identity core. We install. Okay, accept. Alright, you see things are happening here. You have all that needs to happen, or hopefully all that needs to happen happened here. Now that's what I was hoping. So I will build my project as he says ASP identity core. Now he says open controller. Now he's assuming that I have these parts built into my system, which actually does not exist because my system started with the Telerik plugin framework, and they don't add the controller for accounts and the models and the control and models are also the views. So there's nothing for accounts here as yet. So that's the first thing we would look at, adding in the accounts. We'd start with adding in here, browse to existing models. I will just go to models for one of the applications, as any MVC application that you would have had there before that has models, account and identity. These two I got it from a standard MVC project using Visual Studio, so I'll just add them in here. Okay, so they are here. I open identity and you see there are issues. That's okay. First of all, let's change the let me see, user identity, I'm missing some reference. Okay, I wouldn't get a reference here, so I'm missing this here, so let's just check references. Identity framework. So to get the identity framework, maybe we need to jump across, because I don't see it here, ASP identity framework. Look at it, it should be in Microsoft. Okay, oh, it's here, it's here. Framework, cool. Okay, so what we want to do is ensure that this here is the correctly named project. For the namespace, so actually we should rename this to be 4. Let's call it 4.1. Build this, change this to 4.1. DLS. Let's build this over. So the actions we took to resolve when we bring the file, we would I actually rename it to 4.1. I wanted it to reflect the same as the solution 4.1, although the solution has a little underscore. But this is one action. The second action, we also go to NuGet and we install the ASP net identity entity. So it's a different entity. It's not the same as the entity framework. I guess it's same operation, but it's specific towards the entity class and the new things that are done with the ASP net identity. So you go there and we add this in, and I also wanted to put in Owen because Owen is the talked about, but something is wrong here. Oh, okay, this one here. It was the first one, ASP net identity. Yes, I added in this, well, we added in core. You saw how I add core. So I added Owen and I added entity framework for identity, and this made its addition to the reference list, and then any issues that you had here will be resolved. So this was the first thing. We add in our references, and now we have our two files which we just actually added to the model by using it from another project. We have them inside, they're satisfied. Now let's add in the controllers. We will take the controllers from existing projects again. I'm just going to take it from another project. We made identity crisis. Let's see if I could get from identity crisis. Yeah, here's identity crisis. That's another project, another MVC5 project. What I'm looking for is the controller, and I need the account controller, so I just add it in. So it brings in everything that it needs. Now the error here, this error here is good. It tells us that this is not the name of the project, so we can be using the model from there. It's supposed to be. I'm just gonna take out everything using TEL 41.models. Okay, and this is good. This will help us out here now. So this controller, go to the models folder here and find all of it needs, and all the errors down here will be taken care of. And this is standard from ASP vanilla MVC with the bootstrap layout and all that good stuff you get with 2013. We do have an issue here, something to do with OWIN. Let me see where it is. Okay, get OWIN content. Now I'll ignore this error for now, and we'll continue going on, and we'll see how this error will disappear on its own. But it's calling for OWIN. Let's just ensure that we have OWIN. We have OWIN install, OWIN security is here, so that's fine. So we continue. Okay, now we have a controller. We need to make a corresponding view. Let's just do an account view. I'll just make a folder for account to correspond to the account controller here. And we need some views in here, but I will not make views. I will just go and use existing views. I'll jump across here to this guy. In fact, I should have just taken this whole folder. I could have just taken this whole folder and added it into the project. So I'll just add in everybody here. And all these came from ASP. They are just the vanilla controls, the vanilla views. Started register for the, you see this here. We need to change this because this is built into the old project. So it's TELVC41. This should solve that problem. Okay, I'll just copy this here because I will be doing this in every place that has a need to use the models found in the models folder of this project. Okay, this one is fine. This one needs to use models, some class called external login. I'm not too certain what these are for, but I would sooner or later get an idea. Okay, that's the ASP identity, doesn't need it. This is OWIN security identity. Okay, and this one here we are changing it to the current solution. Again, this is our current namespace MVC. Okay, so now if we build our solution, we should have our two problems here with OWIN. Right, now let's just suppose, let's close all this. Let's just suppose that we did all that we had to do so far. We added in our shared view, login partial. Okay, in the layout page, we need to now say that we want after here the UI, we need to put in. You could quickly jump over here to see what it looks like in the original HTML partial layout. So we want the partial, and we choose the partial layout. We switch back to our app. So this is what we want here. So we have this. So this will make the call to the partial page, which will deal with all the accounts information, login part of the application. Now, so we want to give a build to the project now to make sure that we have everything. And we see we have get OWIN context. We go to that error, and it's it's looking for some reference from HTTP context. Now, HTTP web based context, are you missing a reference? So this is basically we're missing a reference. You could quickly Google it, but I think I know this one. If I look in my reference, I have to see Owen, but I'm missing some Owen files, and that would be the Owen host. I don't know if I already need it, but it's usually there. So I'm just gonna use the NuGet and do Owen host. Should okay, Microsoft.Owen host system. Install this one. Accept this. Alright, build my project again, and the errors are gone because that's it. If you click, you would see that this is going to the definition for the assembly Microsoft Owen host, so it was not included when we did the first packages from the. Now you think everything here should work now because it builds properly, no errors. So let's give it a shot, see what errors we have. Okay, our index page, home page loads. Let's try register. And we have our registration page loading. I try login. We have our login page loading. Now this works like this, but troubles you could have, I would show you. Let me show you some troubles. Let's just start the project. Now I'm running the original project which I started with, my real project, which was the real app 4, and I am seeing this error. Okay, there is no assembly found for the Owen startup attribute. Now it's asking that we put some startup attribute in the mconfig file. I did a little bit on the net search for this on the stack trace, and it's a lot on it, but basically what one of the guys said is that if you study this here, the startup authenticate file carefully, you notice that the initial method there would make calls to to our path for login, and this now is not really known, so you would have to go to the web config file, which is your main web config, this one, and add a key entry here for Owen. Okay, let me get the codes to show you what entry we would be adding. So here we want to add something like this. So Owen app startup, the namespace for our project here is TELERIKMVC app 4. And what would this do for us? This is pointing to tell Owen, to tell the system that it should find the Owen startup files here. Now here we do not really have, I excluded the startup, which is the solution. We have startup authenticate. So if we run this project right now, we still should have the same problem. We should have the same problem. Now we could also turn off this ON assembly. We could actually turn it off to make it operate the way we want it to operate. So I think I forgot something. Here we want to specify project, and we want to do Owen startup automatic. So we're going to do this and set its value to be false. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. So now we are not trying to find a startup page to find Owen. We will just be loading our project without Owen. and it will load. Click on register and it works because we are not using OWIN. But I want to use OWIN because if you look at the original vanilla, this is a vanilla MVC, you will notice that it's making this beautiful call here and it's using OWIN here. But what we are not seeing here is this file startup. Startup actually calls the assembly. It knows where to make the call, and this makes the call to the this startup page. So all that we need to do is in your app, all that you need to do, even without this, or you could leave this if you want, let me just comment this out, is include the startup file, just a vanilla startup, which you right click and say new OWIN startup. It will give us this, and let the startup file point to where your startup authentication file is found. Now this should actually be out at the root. It should be out at the root here, and as you see from the generic, we will now be able to point back to config app, and this should be able to go to the place where it's supposed to be. Now it's not going there because it says what startup app startup, but it's outside. So let's just bring it in here, and now we're not here anymore. So let's start up. Not looking for startup. Let's just look at the generic one. Startup here, that is startup. So startup is looking for startup, and startup will jump to startup authentication, which actually is the class startup. So here we have this. Remember, we remove now all this thing about OWIN, and if we run our application, we still get back this error. So what we need to do is simply double check, cross check that this class here, although we are making, it's gonna make a reference to itself, so maybe we could call it class 1, public class setup 1. Okay, and it's only doing that because the class is class setup app is the one that we really need to get at. So for the sake of keeping things simple, which I don't like with this partial class here, I would just delete this. Okay, delete this. This is startup, and you add brand new OWIN startup class called startup. Say okay. It's added to the root, and it's giving problems at the root. So what we could do is actually add it directly to the app start page here, which is startup 1. Okay. This now does what we need it to do for us. It knows to find startup authentication. If it doesn't know how to find it, then we will point it specifically using the codes from a generic. This will use a generic piece of code. So login, it finds it, register, it's fine. I don't know what problems we would have in the future, but this is what I did to get over these troubles with implementing, at least so far, putting back the register and login for the system. And I also believe that I'm pointing to my database in my web config. I made it point to the default connection, so it makes its own little database. You of course will see this. I think we will be pointing, there is a place to okay, here. If we want to change this, we could change this here, make it point to any database that we want. So this is it. Thank you very much.